I think you'll see us return to a more traditional short session this year. I think that the short session was initially originally envisioned as being one where we came in and made tweaks to major policy decisions, addressed unintended consequences, and things that came up over the interim. And I think you'll see us return to that. We've had a very, very aggressive agenda over the last several years, and I think it's incumbent upon us to take a step back and look at the agenda that we passed, to look how those things are affecting the lives of Kentuckians, to make tweaks where we need to address unintended consequences, and to improve on good legislation. Well, every session is unique, and every one since we've taken the majority. This will now be the 7th session since we took the majority, the 4th session where we've sworn in a new crop of freshmen. That first time we had 27 new members with the most aggressive agenda in modern legislative history. And we were successful in large part because of the excitement and energy that new members brought. Certainly presents challenges, but we have an incredibly bright and well-rounded group of legislators from diverse backgrounds, and it will only strengthen the institution and the body. Well, the long and short of it is the ultimate objective of eliminating Kentucky's income tax, to stop penalizing people that work, to stop taxing production and rely more on consumption-based taxes. We know that Kentucky has an extremely difficult workforce participation problem. We have workforce issues in every industry, and we need to make Kentucky a more worker-friendly tax system. And I think that you've seen in other states that have done this, whether it be Tennessee, Texas, Florida, those states that have set forth on a course of eliminating their income tax, their economies have exploded, as have their workforces. And ultimately, we will, in January of this year, we will move from 5% down to 4.5%. And hopefully, assuming everything stays on track the way it is right now, in January of 24, we will move from 4.5% to 4%, and systematically stick with those triggers over the next few years to ultimately eliminate the income tax. Well, much of the crime issues will fall to local governments and local enforcement. We only have so many options on the state level for enforcement mechanisms, but we can amend the code in certain cases to either criminalize or decriminalize certain activities. And I think that there is significant work being done on some criminal justice reform that will address some of those things. We're also working on some corrections reform that will help people to re-enter the system, to reduce recidivism, and help make those people who've served their time more productive members of society as they re-enter. Juvenile justice is a horrific problem in Kentucky. We've seen it in the news several times over the last few months, some tragic news that we've seen pop up in the news here recently. The governor has announced some temporary stopgap measures to try to address some of those things. And it is our intent. Representative Kevin Bratcher has worked diligently on some juvenile justice reform issues, both in reforming the code as well as reforming the incarceration of juveniles. Again, I think it's going to be a relatively deliberate session. Certainly there's some issues that are pressing that we will address. Some will depend on court rulings that have come down, particularly along the lines of school choice. We saw just recently a court decision, the Supreme Court ruled against one of our school choice bills that we passed out 2 years ago. So we'll look at ways to continue to offer choice to all Kentuckians and continue to empower parents in the education of their children. Historically, the Committee of Jurisdiction for the Health and Family Services Cabinet has been either the Health and Welfare Committee or the Health and Family Services Committee, whichever it happened to be named at that particular time. We've also had two statutory committees, a Welfare Oversight Committee and a Child Welfare Committee that functioned during the interims. Last year, we passed a piece of legislation that would eliminate the Medicaid Oversight Committee and the Child Welfare Committee and elevate those to a standing committee status. And it is simply to be able to attack the massive workload that is to be dealt with within the Health and Family Services Cabinet.